one. This part up here would then be the fourth level of Visby. This is a really wooden city. This is the biggest wooden city, preserved wooden city from the 16th and 17th century in whole Europe. You don't think it maybe that this is a wooden house, but it is. It's just plastered. You can see the wooden beams coming out through the walls up here. So this is also a wooden house, but you don't think so. Most of the houses are built in this technique. You have big battens, you have the poles here at the corners. You make well, the new niche. Along the whole, and then you put the battens just on the top of each other. There is no nail, no metal work in this at all. Just put the wood. You see down here, which means that you can also take it apart. Just mark everything, and you can take it apart like a big puzzle, and move it to another place. Just put it up again. This technique to build is a very, very old technique. It's used here in Sweden. We know it from the Iron Age. So let's say 200-300 AD, something like that. They built houses this way already. Today the same technique is used, but not with wood. Today you have concrete and steel, but you use the same technique still to build. At that time when the wooden houses were built, it was a poor people's area. They couldn't afford to have a stone house down in the city. They built their houses up here. The wooden houses was a slum. The poor people's area. But I can tell you that today, this is not the poor people's area. It's the absolutely opposite, of course. And especially these houses here, along the edge of the rock, where you have the view over the sea and over the city and so on, they are quite expensive. We sold one house up here now in summer, 19 square meters, which is roughly a small living room. Not a big one, small living room. And they sold it for roughly 400,000 US. So you pay a lot per square meter there. Yeah, but of course you pay for the view, you pay for the place, you don't pay for the house. The view here is nice. I mean, we have the ruins now. In the medieval time, we had 17 churches inside the town wall of Visby. Today there is only one still in use, and that is St. Mary's Church here, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more about later. But first of all, we have here some monasteries. We have one over there, St. Nicholas Church. It was a Black Friars monastery, and this St. Nicholas Church is the only ruin still with a roofing. All the others have also just fallen down and into the church, but this one still has the roof and the old walls, so you can see you have a roof over your head when you are in there. We use it today for concerts and things like that. In that monastery we had a Gotlandic man who was the friar in the 14th century. He had been in Cologne in Germany to be educated, and there he met a nun, Christina von Stommel. And when he came back here to Gotland as a friar for that monastery, he continued to exchange letters with her during her lifetime, and he later also wrote a book about her, and is therefore called the first author of Sweden, because the book is not just a fact book, it's a little bit more a romantic book, you could say. And the thing was that they fell in love with each other, of course, this friar, the monk, and this nun, but it is said that it was only a Platonian love. But when you read the letters, because they are preserved, you can read them. I don't know if they were really only Platonian in love, but I don't know. Anyway, it's quite funny to read those letters. The next church, or the next ruin we have here, is the Holy Ghost Church. It is quite special because it has an octagonal bell tower, 8 corners. I don't know if anybody of you have been to Aachen in Germany. Karl the Great's big cathedral in Aachen in Germany has also a tower with 8 corners. It's octagonal. The scientists today, they think that the building master of this church had been to Aachen and seen the church of Karl the Great down there, and then came back here and said, I want to build a church like that one I saw in Aachen. Then we have more ruins down here, but one question one could through the town wall on the north side of the town wall, and the whole north part of the city. So many of those churches or ruins you see down here now are from this 1525 invasion of the Germans. But one church here in the northern part which they left was of course this one. Because St. Mary's Church was the Germans' church in the city. So of course they didn't burn their own church. This church was built end of 1100. It was inaugurated 1225. And it was built in a Romantic style. You can see a Romantic style with the rounded windows at the bottom down there. The lower parts are Romantic. Around 1340 it was rebuilt in a Gothic style, high Gothic. We see it even more on the south side. And with the Gothic period, you had the acute top of each window pointing really towards the heaven and the sky and everything. And it should be like that in the Gothic period. But one thing they didn't do when they rebuilt the church was to rebuild the interior. So the interior of the church is still the Romantic church, but the old side is a Gothic church. So, but when they then rebuilt this old church, they didn't do anything to the interior. They must have got a huge attic. Of course, I mean, they didn't do anything with the interior, but they raised everything much higher. Why? It's such a huge attic. They didn't have enough storage place. So the German tradesmen in the city, they used the church as a storage house. You can see the beam hanging there still with a hook. You could get the goods up. So that's why they didn't rebuild the interior. They used it as a storage house. We'll continue. You can see the south part as well.